Have you ever wondered about the implications of a country's defense budget? Today, we delve into Japan's recent approval of a record $56 billion defense budget. Unfolding before our eyes is a historical moment for Japan, as the country's defense budget experiences a surge of over 16% from the previous year. This unprecedented increase was approved just recently by the cabinet, and it's set to significantly accelerate the deployment of long-range cruise missiles. These are not just any missiles, but ones that have the capacity to target China or North Korea. But that's not all. This budget also signals a further fortification of the military with American weapons. Picture this: F-35 stealth combat jets and other cutting-edge American weaponry being increasingly integrated into the Japanese military arsenal. This is not just about defense anymore. It's about Japanese troops taking up more offensive roles and working more closely than ever with their allies. This $56 billion budget plan for the 2024 fiscal year, which starts this March, is not just a one-off event. In fact, it marks the second year of an ambitious, 5-year military buildup program. This strategy, adopted by Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's government a year ago, represents a major break from Japan's post-war principle of limiting the use of force to self-defense. So what we are witnessing here is not just a massive increase in defense spending but also a fundamental shift in Japan's military posture. A shift that's set to redefine Japan's role in the increasingly tense geopolitical landscape of East Asia. This marks the second year in a row of Japan's ambitious 5-year military buildup program. So what sparked this significant increase in Japan's defense budget? It all ties back to a new security strategy. This strategy is a bold move by Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's government, adopted just a year ago, which marks a significant shift in Japan's military stance. Historically, Japan has adhered to a post-war principle of limiting the use of force to self-defense. This has been a cornerstone of the nation's approach to international relations since the end of World War II. However, the rising tensions in the region, particularly with China and North Korea, have prompted a re-evaluation of this policy. Under the new strategy, the government has committed to reinforcing its strike capability. This is a major departure from the past and is seen as a necessary step to ensure the country's security in an increasingly volatile geopolitical landscape. The strategy involves accelerating the deployment of long-range cruise missiles capable of hitting targets in both China and North Korea. This, coupled with the bolstering of the military with F-35 stealth combat jets and other American weapons, means Japanese troops are set to take on more offensive roles. But that's not all. In the second year of a 5-year military buildup program, Japan's defense spending will surge more than 16%. It's a record military budget that reflects the seriousness with which the government is taking these threats to national security. In terms of numbers, Japan plans to spend $300 billion through 2027 to bolster its military power. The aim is to nearly double its annual spending to around $68 billion. This would make Japan the world's third biggest military spender, trailing only the United States and China. This strategy bolsters Japan's military power significantly, aiming for nearly double its annual spending by 2027, making Japan the world's third biggest military spender. This is a clear indication of the lengths to which Japan is willing to go to ensure its security and sovereignty in the face of growing regional tensions. With a clear strategy in place, let's look at the centerpiece of the 2024 budget. The heart of the budget lies in the early deployment of standoff missiles. These are not just any missiles. They are long-range cruise missiles that have the capacity to hit targets in China or North Korea, two countries with which tensions are escalating. These missiles are meant to reinforce air defenses, a move that is particularly important in safeguarding Japan's southwestern islands. Why the southwestern islands, you ask? Well, imagine a scenario where conflict erupts between China and Taiwan, a situation that is not entirely implausible given the current geopolitical climate. These islands would be on the front line, and the standoff missiles are Japan's way of asserting that it is prepared to protect its territory, come what may. But the budget doesn't stop there. It also includes a whopping 1.25 trillion yen, which is about 8.78 billion American dollars. This significant allocation is to bolster Japan's missile defense systems. This includes the construction of 2 Aegis-equipped warships, which are set to be deployed in 2027 to 2028. These steps, while defensive in nature, are a departure from Japan's post-war principle of limiting use of force to self-defense. They represent a shift towards a more proactive stance in the face of potential threats. It's a clear message to the world that Japan is ready and willing to not only defend its territory, but also maintain peace in the region. This budget is a clear indication of Japan's intent to protect its territory and maintain peace. With such a substantial budget, what does the future look like for Japan's defense? Well, it's clear that Japan is not just looking at the immediate future, but also plotting a course for the long term. The plans include the joint development of glide-phase interceptors with the United States. These new-age weapons are designed to counter the hypersonic missiles being developed by China, North Korea, and Russia. This collaboration is part of a project that is set to cost 75.5 billion yen, or around $530 million. It's a significant move, aimed at bolstering Japan's missile defense systems, with a projected deployment around the year 2030. But the collaboration doesn't stop there. Japan is also working with Britain and Italy to develop a next-generation fighter jet. This isn't just a defensive move, it's also an offensive one, as the new aircraft will enhance Japan's air capabilities significantly. This joint venture is expected to cost over 70 billion yen, or about $490 million. The new fighter jet is set to be deployed in the year 2035, marking another significant step in Japan's military evolution. These collaborations are not just about enhancing Japan's military capabilities, they're also about strengthening international ties and cooperation in the face of common threats. By working together on weapons technology, production, and sales, these nations are sending a clear message. They are united and prepared to meet the challenges that lie ahead. These plans and collaborations are part of Japan's broader strategy to deal with the growing threats in the Indo-Pacific region. Japan is working to ensure that it can defend itself and its allies, both now and in the future. With these plans in place, Japan aims to strengthen cooperation in weapons technology, production, and sales amid growing threats in the Indo-Pacific. It's a bold move, and a clear signal that Japan is prepared to do what it takes to secure its future and the future of the region. The implications of such a significant increase in Japan's defense budget are far-reaching. As Japan pours billions into its defense, the ripple effects will undoubtedly be felt across the Asia-Pacific region and beyond. Firstly, let's consider the impact on Japan's relations with North Korea and China. Both nations have been a source of concern for Japan, and this ramped-up defense budget may be interpreted as a direct response to the escalating tensions. The deployment of long-range cruise missiles capable of reaching targets in both China and North Korea sends a clear message. Japan is ready to defend itself. But this isn't just about defense. This unprecedented military buildup represents a significant shift from Japan's post-war principle of limiting the use of force to self-defense. It's a clear indication that Japan is willing to take a more offensive role in the region, working closely with allies like the United States, Britain, and Italy to fortify its military power. This increased military spending also has the potential to shift the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific region. As Japan becomes the world's third-largest military spender, it is asserting itself as a significant player on the geopolitical stage. Its collaborations with Western allies further strengthen its position, potentially altering the dynamics in a region where China has been the dominant power. However, we must remember that with power comes responsibility. As Japan embarks on this new path, it will face the challenge of balancing its new military capabilities with its commitment to peace and stability in the region. As Japan fortifies its defense, the world watches with bated breath to see how this will shift the balance of power in the region.